Human, this is a mistake. She put me through brutal alien trials. The moment the guards dragged Marcus into the vast throne room, he knew he was in serious trouble. His spacecraft had malfunctioned during a routine exploration mission, sending him spiraling through uncharted space before crash landing on this strange world. Now, battered and exhausted, he faced what appeared to be the planet's ruler. Queen Vela sat upon an elevated throne carved from blue crystal that seemed to pulse with its own light. Her skin had a subtle purple sheen, and her eyes, 3 of them, studied him with cold calculation. The throne room itself defied understanding, with walls that appeared solid one moment and transparent the next, revealing glimpses of swirling nebula and distant stars. "So this is the creature that violated our airspace," Queen Vela said, her voice carrying a musical quality despite its coldness. "Explain yourself before I decide your fate." Marcus straightened his posture, ignoring the pain shooting through his injured leg. "My name is Marcus Reed, exploration pilot from Earth. My ship malfunctioned. The crash was an accident, not an invasion." He met her gaze directly, refusing to show fear even as the guards tightened their grip on his arms. The Queen's central eye narrowed. "Earth, we have no knowledge of this world. We're relatively new to interstellar travel," Marcus admitted, "which is why I'd appreciate the chance to repair my ship and leave your world in peace." A ripple of murmurs spread through the court. Queen Vela silenced them with a slight raise of her hand. "Remarkably bold for a creature at my mercy," she observed. "Most visitors tremble before requesting anything." Marcus shrugged. "Trembling won't fix my ship." For a brief moment, something that might have been amusement flickered across the Queen's face. Then it vanished, replaced by her previous cold demeanor. "Your technology is primitive. Your physiology is." She examined him with unconcealed disgust. "Inefficient. Yet you display neither proper deference nor fear." "Should I?" Marcus asked, genuine curiosity in his voice. The Queen's posture shifted almost imperceptibly. "Intriguing. Most species recognize instinctively that the Valyrian Empire spans thousands of worlds, that I personally have overseen the extinction of civilizations that refuse to acknowledge our supremacy." Marcus maintained his composure. "On Earth, we don't judge individuals by appearances or initial impressions. We believe in giving everyone a fair chance." "Fair." The Queen actually laughed, a sound like crystal chimes. "Nothing in the universe is fair, Earth creature." "Marcus," he corrected. "My name is Marcus." The throne room fell silent. No one corrected the Queen. She rose from her throne, her form towering nearly 7 feet tall. "Very well, Marcus of Earth. I shall give you your fair chance." She turned to her advisors. "Prepare the trials." One advisor stepped forward, his expression concerned. "My Queen, this creature is clearly too fragile for." "Are you questioning my judgment?" The Queen's voice carried enough venom to make the advisor step back. "No, Your Majesty." She returned her attention to Marcus. "The trials will determine your value. Survive, and we shall discuss the repair of your vessel. Fail, and your remains will fertilize the royal gardens." She waved dismissively. "Take him away." As the guards escorted him from the throne room, Marcus caught the Queen watching him with an intensity that seemed more curious than hostile. He had no idea what the trials entailed, but surrender wasn't in his nature. If Queen Vela wanted to test him, he'd give her a show she wouldn't forget. The holding cell they placed him in was surprisingly comfortable, a circular room with a strange gel-like bed and walls that pulsed with soft light. Hours passed before the door finally opened, revealing a smaller Valyrian in formal attire. "I am Nix, Royal Protocol Officer," the alien announced. "The first trial begins at dawn. I suggest you rest while you can." "What exactly are these trials?" Marcus asked. Nix's expression remained neutral. "Tests of capability, resilience, and worth. No off-worlder has completed all 3 in over 2 centuries. And if I pass, then you will have earned unprecedented respect." Nix tilted his head slightly. Though I must caution you, Queen Vela appears particularly interested in your performance. This is unusual. Is that good or bad? That, Nix said as he backed toward the door, remains to be seen. The Queen's interest is both a great honor and a considerable danger. After Nix departed, Marcus examined his surroundings more carefully, looking for anything he could use to his advantage in whatever challenges lay ahead. He found nothing but had to admire the elegant alien technology surrounding him. He lay back on the strange bed, which conformed perfectly to his body, providing unexpected comfort. As sleep began to claim him, Marcus couldn't help but wonder about Queen Vela. Despite her coldness, there had been something in her gaze, curiosity, perhaps even respect, when he'd stood his ground. Tomorrow, he would show her exactly what humans were made of. The first trial began at dawn, just as Nix had promised. The guards led Marcus to a vast circular arena with sand-like purple granules covering the ground. Above, multiple moons hung visible in the morning sky, despite the rising sun, creating an otherworldly light that made the arena's polished stone walls glimmer. Queen Vela observed from an elevated platform, surrounded by her court. Her 3 eyes tracked Marcus's every movement as he entered the arena. The trial of physical worth, announced a booming voice. The challenger must defeat 3 opponents of increasing difficulty or yield. Yielding means failure. Marcus rolled his shoulders, trying to loosen muscles still sore from the crash. His flight suit, damaged but intact, would provide minimal protection at best. The first opponent entered, a reptilian creature with 4 arms, each ending in wicked claws. It hissed, displaying rows of needle-like teeth. "Begin," commanded the announcer. The creature charged. Marcus waited until the last possible moment before dodging, using the alien's momentum against it. The reptilian crashed into the wall with a pained screech. Before it could recover, Marcus delivered a precise strike to what he hoped was a vulnerable point in its neck. The creature collapsed, unconscious. Murmurs of surprise rippled through the watching crowd. Queen Vela leaned forward slightly, her interest plainly visible now. The second opponent was faster, a blur of motion that struck Marcus from behind, sending him sprawling. Pain exploded across his back. He rolled away just as a foot-long stinger embedded itself in the ground where he'd been. This opponent resembled an oversized wasp with humanoid features. It darted through the air, impossibly quick. Marcus couldn't match its speed, so he changed tactics. He grabbed handfuls of the purple sand and waited for the creature to attack again. When it dove, Marcus threw the sand into its compound eyes. The creature screeched, temporarily blinded. Marcus seized the opportunity, tackling it to the ground and pinning its stinger arm until it submitted. The crowd's reaction was louder now, a mix of disbelief and reluctant admiration. Queen Vela's expression remained unchanged, but her posture had tensed with anticipation. The third opponent made the previous 2 look like warm-up exercises, nearly 9 feet tall, with skin like polished obsidian and muscles that seemed carved from stone. The creature carried no weapons. It didn't need any. Marcus knew he couldn't overpower this opponent. He'd have to outthink it. As the behemoth charged, Marcus feinted left, then ducked under a massive swing. The creature's momentum carried it forward, but it recovered quickly, faster than something so large should be able to move. A massive fist connected with Marcus's ribs, sending white-hot pain through his body. He gasped, certain something had broken. The crowd roared its approval. Through watering eyes, he saw Queen Vela watching intently, her head tilted as if analyzing his every move. The behemoth advanced for the finishing blow. Marcus gathered his remaining strength and dove between its legs, then scrambled up its back. The creature roared, trying to dislodge him, but Marcus held tight. He wrapped his arm around the giant's throat, applying pressure to what he hoped was an equivalent to a carotid artery. For agonizing seconds, nothing happened. Then gradually the behemoth's struggles weakened. It dropped to one knee, then collapsed entirely. Marcus rolled clear, clutching his injured ribs, breathing heavily. Silence fell over the arena. Then, unexpectedly, Queen Vela stood. "The trial of physical worth is complete," she announced. "The Earth creature has proven its body worthy." "Marcus," he corrected, looking up at her platform. "My name is Marcus." A collective gasp went through the crowd at his continued insolence, but Queen Vela's lips curved in what might have been the beginning of a smile. "Prepare him for the trial of mental worth," she commanded, then added more quietly, though Marcus still heard, "This one is different." The second trial took place in a chamber filled with glowing symbols and floating geometric shapes. Queen Vela herself presided, without her usual entourage. "You will solve 3 puzzles," she explained. "Each represents a problem my scientists have been unable to resolve. Your human perspective may provide alternative solutions." The first puzzle involved redirecting energy through a complex 3-dimensional matrix. Marcus approached it methodically, identifying patterns and applying principles from Earth physics. Within minutes, he had created a solution the Valyrians had overlooked, using the matrix's own resistance as an amplifier. Queen Vela's central eye widened slightly. "Unexpected," she murmured. The second and third puzzles proved equally challenging but solvable when approached from a human perspective. While Valyrian thinking favored complex, elegant solutions, Marcus found that sometimes the simplest approach worked best. After completing the final puzzle, Marcus looked up to find Queen Vela studying him with undisguised fascination. "Your species approaches problems differently," she observed. "Less elegantly, perhaps, but with effective innovation." "That's humanity in a nutshell," Marcus replied. "We make up for our physical limitations with adaptability and creativity." "Indeed." She circled him slowly. "The final trial begins tomorrow. The trial of will. No off-worlder has passed it in my lifetime." "What does it involve?" Queen Vela stopped directly in front of him. "That would defeat its purpose. Rest. You will need your strength." As she turned to leave, Marcus called after her. "Why put me through these trials? Why not just execute me or let me repair my ship?" She paused at the doorway. "Because you interest me, Marcus of Earth. And very little has interested me in a very long time." The following morning, Marcus was escorted not to another arena or testing chamber, but to an elaborate dining hall. Queen Vela sat alone at a massive crystalline table laden with strange foods and exotic drinks. "Join me," she commanded, gesturing to the seat opposite her. Marcus approached cautiously. "Is this part of the trial?" "In a manner of speaking." She selected a purple fruit and sliced it precisely. "The trial of will is not a single test, but a continuous assessment. It began the moment you entered my throne room." Marcus sat down slowly. "You've been testing my will all along." "Correct. Your resistance to intimidation, your persistence despite injury, your refusal to yield to superior force." She pushed a plate toward him. "These foods are compatible with your physiology. I had them analyzed." "That's considerate," Marcus said, surprised by this unexpected hospitality. "It would be inefficient to poison you accidentally after investing so much in your evaluation." Her 3 eyes studied him as he cautiously sampled a blue bread-like substance. "Tell me about Earth." For the next hour, Marcus described his home planet, its diverse ecosystems, varied cultures, and complex history. Queen Vela listened with unexpected attentiveness, occasionally asking surprisingly insightful questions. "Your species achieved space travel despite spending most of your history fighting amongst yourselves?" she asked, seemingly fascinated by this contradiction. "Sometimes conflict drives innovation," Marcus explained. "And eventually, most humans realized we could accomplish more by cooperating." "Fascinating. In Valyrian society, unity has always been mandatory, not chosen. Is that why you're queen? Because it's mandatory?" Her expression hardened momentarily before shifting to something more contemplative. "I am queen because I proved myself the most capable, just as you are proving yourself now." Before Marcus could respond, the dining hall doors burst open. A tall Valyrian in elaborate military regalia strode in, his expression furious. "My queen, this is inappropriate," he declared. "Dining privately with an alien creature. The High Council is concerned." Queen Vela's demeanor changed instantly, her earlier openness replaced by icy authority. "Commander Drex, you forget yourself. Forgive me, but this, human, is a security risk. There are protocols. Protocols I established and can override," she interrupted. "Remember your place." Commander Drex's eyes narrowed, shifting briefly to Marcus before returning to the Queen. "The Council requests your presence. Immediately." After a tense moment, Queen Vela stood. "Very well. Return Marcus to his quarters. We will continue our discussion later." Once she had departed, Commander Drex approached Marcus, looming over him threateningly. "The Queen may find you amusing, human, but do not mistake her scientific curiosity for favor. You are still nothing more than a specimen." Marcus met his gaze steadily. "And you're afraid that might change." Drex's hand moved to a weapon at his side. "Push too far, and no royal interest will save you." Hours later, Nyx arrived at Marcus's quarters. "The Queen requests your presence in the Royal Observatory." The observatory proved to be a magnificent dome atop the highest tower, offering a panoramic view of the alien landscape and star-filled sky above. Queen Vela stood alone, gazing upward. "Your Commander Drex seems unhappy about my continued survival," Marcus commented as he joined her. "Drex believes all non-Valyrians are inferior. Many share his view." She turned to face him. "He is also correct about one thing. My interest in you began as scientific curiosity. And now I find myself uncertain." She moved closer. "You have passed every challenge. Shown intelligence, adaptability, and courage I did not expect from your species. The trial of will should have broken you, yet you remain defiant. Defiant, but respectful," Marcus clarified. "I recognize you could have me executed at any moment. Yet you do not cower." Her voice grew softer. "It is refreshing." An alarm suddenly blared throughout the structure. Queen Vela stiffened, moving swiftly to a control panel that materialized from the wall. "Impossible," she muttered as she reviewed information on the display. "What's happening?" Marcus asked. "The Kryvax, a hostile species we've held at bay for generations." Her expression darkened. "They have penetrated our outer defenses and disabled our primary shield generators." Marcus joined her at the display, quickly grasping the tactical situation despite the unfamiliar technology. "Your secondary defenses are still operational, but there's a vulnerability here." He pointed to a section of the schematic. "They'll exploit it next." Queen Vela gave him a sharp look. "How could you possibly know their strategy?" "Because it's what I would do," Marcus explained. "Target the power distribution nodes to create cascading failures across the entire defensive grid." The Queen's expression changed, calculation replacing suspicion. "Can you counter it?" "Possibly. On Earth, I specialized in defensive systems before becoming a pilot." Marcus studied the display more closely. "If we reroute power through these auxiliary channels and establish a randomized distribution pattern, we can prevent them from predicting which nodes to target next." Queen Vela made a swift decision. "Do it." In the command center, Commander Drex exploded with rage when Queen Vela arrived with Marcus. "My queen, bringing this alien here during an attack is—" "Silence." Her voice cracked like thunder. "The human has identified a vulnerability in our defenses that your experts missed." Marcus moved immediately to a control station, working quickly despite the unfamiliar interface. "Your systems are elegant but predictable. The Kryvax are exploiting that predictability." His fingers danced across the controls. "I'm implementing a randomized defensive algorithm that should buy us time." Drex watched with obvious skepticism, but when the Kryvax attack faltered against the new defensive pattern, his expression shifted to reluctant surprise. "Impressive," Queen Vela acknowledged. "But temporary. Their main battle fleet will arrive within hours. Marcus thought quickly. My ship. If we could repair its communication array, I could contact Earth. We've dealt with similar tactical situations. Earth vessels could not arrive in time, Drex objected. No, but Earth defensive strategies might help, Marcus countered. We've developed methods against attackers with superior firepower. Queen Vela made another swift decision. Prepare his vessel. Commander, assign your best engineers. As they worked to repair his ship, Marcus learned more about the Kryvex, a collective consciousness driven by consumption of resources and technology. They had been the Valyrian Empire's greatest threat for centuries. Within hours, Marcus had established communication with Earth's Defense Command. After explaining the situation, he received tactical data packages specifically designed for asymmetric warfare against technologically superior forces. These strategies were theoretical on Earth, Marcus explained as he implemented them. But the principles are sound. We use the enemy's size and power against them. The Valyrian engineers adapted Earth's defensive concepts with remarkable speed. By the time the Kryvax fleet arrived, a completely new defensive system awaited them, one they had never encountered before. The battle was fierce. Several times, the Kryvax nearly broke through, only to be thwarted by unpredictable defensive reconfigurations. Eventually, after sustaining unprecedented losses, the Kryvax fleet retreated. In the aftermath, Queen Vela called a full court assembly. Marcus stood before her throne, aware of the mixed reactions from the gathered Valyrians, respect from some, lingering suspicion from others. Marcus of Earth, Queen Vela addressed him formally. You have completed the trial of will in unprecedented fashion, not merely by enduring our tests, but by acting decisively to protect our world when you could have used the chaos to escape. Commander Drex stepped forward. My queen, while the human's assistance was valuable, we cannot ignore the fact that his presence here violated our space. A violation that saved countless Valyrian lives, she countered. The Kryvax would have eventually penetrated our defenses without his intervention. She rose from her throne and descended the steps until she stood directly before Marcus. You asked for a chance to repair your ship and leave in peace. That opportunity is now yours. She paused. However, I propose an alternative. A murmur spread through the court. Earth and Valyria have much to offer each other, she continued. Your species' unpredictable innovation complements our established technological prowess. I propose an alliance, beginning with you as Earth's first ambassador to the Valyrian Empire. Marcus was stunned. I'm not a diplomat. I'm just a pilot. You are more than that, Queen Vela said, her voice carrying unusual warmth. You have proven that humans possess qualities valuable to Valyria, qualities I underestimated. Looking around at the court, at the mixture of curiosity and newfound respect on alien faces, Marcus realized the unprecedented opportunity before him. His crash landing, rather than ending in disaster, could mark the beginning of humanity's first major interstellar alliance. I accept, he decided. On behalf of Earth, I would be honored to establish diplomatic relations with Valyria. Queen Vela's three eyes seemed to shine with satisfaction. Then let it be recorded that on this day, Earth joined the company of civilized worlds. She extended her hand in what was clearly an adopted human gesture. Welcome, Ambassador Marcus. As he took her hand, Marcus noticed something new in Queen Vela's expression, not merely curiosity or respect, but genuine appreciation. What had begun as a fight for survival had transformed into the dawn of a new era for both their worlds. And as Queen Vela's grip lingered just a moment longer than protocol required, Marcus suspected this unexpected partnership might develop in ways neither of them could yet imagine.